learn something. I'm making these videos so you can do as much as you can. Listen to them while you sleep to program your mind, or listen to them while you walk. If just one sentence sticks in your mind, your life will change. You can have the world's largest library, but if its doors are locked, the information inside is worthless. Many of us expect revolutionary changes in our lives, but our minds are filled with the rusty chains of the past and stale ideas. Bruce Lee knew that true wisdom is not about accumulating but about letting go. He left us with this jarring question: how can you enjoy a new life without emptying the old one? This lesson is not just about learning something new, it's about forgetting everything you think you know. If you want to create a new reality in the quantum field, that field must first be empty and clean. Because the universe cannot shape overflowing chaos, it only responds to absolute emptiness. For Bruce Lee, this is not just a fighting strategy, but the only condition for the human spirit to be reborn at any moment. If your cup is still full of old fears and the roles society has assigned you, this academy cannot teach you anything new. Now be brave and prepare to pour out even the last drops remaining at the bottom of your mind, because genius only echoes in emptiness. Bruce Lee realized that the greatest tragedy of modern man is being too full of his own past. Most of us dream of new doors opening in our lives, yet we are unwilling to leave our old suitcases behind to pass through them. A full cup is not just filled with information, it is also filled with the labels society has imposed on you, the limitations inherited from your family, and the residue of your past failures. When Bruce spoke of expressing oneself, he meant reaching a pure essence freed from these foreign burdens. If your mind is filled with fixed judgments like, "This is who I am," or "I can't do this," the sea of quantum possibilities has dried up for you. Because certainty is the greatest enemy of creativity and change, much like frozen water can no longer flow. In Bruce Lee's philosophy, a full cup represents a static and dead mind. However, the universe is in a constant state of becoming, and to harmonize with this flow, the mind must be able to stretch at every moment. Many people, while trying to manifest something new, are actually trying to install new software on an old operating system and don't understand why the system crashes. That old system is the set of rigid beliefs you call my character. For Bruce Lee, a true fighter is one who enters every match and every moment as if they were nobody before. If you are full of a victory won or a wound received in the past, you cannot see the present reality. To empty your cup is actually the courage to look at the world every morning like a baby, without carrying any prejudice. All that academic knowledge, social status, and titles that feed your ego actually constitute the stale water in your cup. As long as that stale water sits there, there will be no room for the fresh and vibrant energy the universe wants to offer you. The moment you stop defining yourself, you gain the potential to be anything. What we must understand at this stage of the Bruce Lee Academy is this: emptiness is not a weakness but the first step toward infinity. Now be honest, are you truly ready to give up that old identity you love so much and think gives you security? Bruce Lee's cry to empty your cup points to one of the most fundamental principles of modern quantum physics. The void is not an absence, but the source of all existence. In the quantum field, a particle can exist in infinite possibilities only as long as it is not observed or forced into a pattern. Meaning, when you empty the patterns in your mind, you align with the frequency of universal possibilities. Bruce saw the concept of the void, not as a deficiency, but as a creative power center, because a full mind only repeats what is already recorded. If your mind is constantly occupied with waves of old fear and neuronal networks of past experiences, you cannot find the space required to attract a new reality. Scientifically speaking, when our brains produce the same thoughts repeatedly, they secrete the same chemical cocktails, which traps us in a loop. Bruce Lee's philosophy suggests that the only way to break this loop is to consciously bring the mind to the 0 point. If you want to plant a seed of new intention, manifestation, into the quantum field, that soil must first be cleared of old roots and weeds. Most people think they can change their lives just by doing affirmations, but unless the full cup beneath, the rigid beliefs, changes, every new thought remains only on the surface. Bruce believed that a technique in martial arts could only be executed at full speed when the mind was empty, because thinking is a parasite that comes between action and energy. The power of a laser beam comes from the coherence between photons. When you empty the noise in your mind, you become a focal point as sharp as that laser. The process of creation we call manifestation is the art of leaving that crowded room in your mind and stepping into the silent, vast void of the quantum. At the Bruce Lee Academy, we accept this void not as an object of fear, but as the playground of the highest creativity. In the void, everything is possible because there are no obstacles and no no-s. Empty your old knowledge and the truths you think you know so that the massive intelligence of the quantum field can begin to flow through you. Remember, what allows a musical instrument to make sound is the emptiness within it. If you want to play the symphony of your life, you must first make peace with your own void. For Bruce Lee, growth was not about adding something, but rather about subtracting the unnecessary day by day. He argued that a fighter's or a human's greatest obstacle is being a prisoner of the techniques and patterns they have learned. Throughout our lives, most of us accumulate information, diplomas, and societal truths. However, according to Bruce, these accumulations become mental shackles in our minds. When he said, "Empty your cup," he wanted you to get rid of all those correct misconceptions that limit you. The art of unlearning is like sculpting a mind. You must discard the excesses on the outside to find the pure statue within the marble. Bruce Lee saw that in martial arts, styles separated people and turned them into robots. The moment you enter a mold, the limits of that mold become your destiny and your connection with the universal flow is severed. Today, modern psychology confirms this truth that Bruce spoke decades ago through the concept of neuroplasticity. Your brain can only build new synapses when it erases old pathways. If there are obstacles in your life that you simply cannot overcome, it is because you are still trying to reach new goals using old ways. Bruce Lee knew that a person who could look at a situation as if they had never seen it before was unstoppable. Because that person moves with the pure truth of the present moment, not with the prejudices of the past. If you want to improve yourself, you must first discover not what you don't know, but what you know incorrectly. That bitter and stale tea in the cup is actually those rigid thought patterns where you say, "There is no other way." When Bruce said, "Be formless like water," he actually meant that infinite flexibility created by rejecting all kinds of molds. Learning is a choice, but unlearning is a matter of courage, because letting go of what you know leaves your ego naked and vulnerable. At the Bruce Lee Academy, we do not fear this vulnerability of the ego. On the contrary, we see it as the only way to reach the truth. Your old methods gave you your current life. If you want more, you must be free enough to abandon those methods. Are you ready to burn your own mental library? Only then can you begin to write your own original story. Emptying your mind is not an end, but a magnificent beginning, because the universe abhors a vacuum and tries to instantly fill every void you create with new energy. In Bruce Lee's philosophy, emptying the cup is to make room for new and fresh tea, which is a higher consciousness. If your cup is clean, every intention, every dream, and every manifestation you put into it will crystallize in its purest form. Most people are so noisy while trying to add something new to their lives that they don't even notice the fresh inspirations the universe offers them. Bruce Lee knew that the clarity brought by emptying the mind is the only frequency where one can hear their own inner voice in the universal intelligence. When your cup is empty, you begin to fill it not just with what society tells you, but with the true desires of your soul. In the quantum field, this stage is when the observer clearly defines their intention and selects the best one among the possibilities. Bruce Lee approached every training session and every movie with an excitement as if he were doing it for the first time in his life, because he preserved the freshness within that void. In this lesson of the Academy, we choose which seeds to plant in that void. Building a new reality is not about building floors on top of old ruins. It is about clearing the foundation completely and placing an unshakable belief there. You must now fill your cup not with limitations, but with the belief that everything is possible, with discipline, and with Bruce's famous determination. This new content does not weigh you down like your old stale ideas. On the contrary, it lightens you and makes you fluid like water. Remember, the quality of the water in the cup determines the quality of your life. Bruce Lee would read, write, and meditate every day to fill his mind with the purest and highest ideals. He didn't just accumulate physical strength. He placed a universal will into his emptied mind. Now it's your turn. What new intentions will you place in that clean, empty, and clear mind today? Your cup is now ready. Whatever you put inside, you will become. For Bruce Lee, philosophy was not just a thought left in books, but a discipline practiced every day in the training hall and in life. Emptying your cup once is not enough. Just like bathing every day, you must cleanse the mind from the residues of yesterday. Every morning when you wake up, you must return to the 0 point by leaving yesterday's successes, failures, resentments, and labels on the bed. When Bruce said, "Be formless," he was actually talking about the mind's ability to reshape itself at any moment. If you start your day with the noise of yesterday, you will see the fresh opportunities of that day through an old filter. A true student of the Academy starts every day with a curiosity as if they know nothing, and with an empty mind. When you face a problem, instead of giving your old reactions immediately, create that silent void in your mind and ask yourself, If I forgot everything I knew, what would I do right now? This question is the magic key that will activate your highest potential in the quantum field. Bruce Lee's invincibility came from his ability to make unexpected moves, because he was not imprisoned in any mold, any technique, or any past. If you want to create unexpected miracles in your life, you must first give up that predictable, old, and full state of your mind. Dedicate 1 hour every day only to silence and staying within nothingness. This is the time to clean the last residues at the bottom of your cup. Remember, the greatest artist is the one who always keeps the canvas empty. Only then can you draw a new masterpiece on it every day. Like Bruce, live every moment as if it were a first and a last. Life is too precious to be carried with a full and heavy mind. So now, take a deep breath and set aside all that old identity and heavy burdens. Your cup is now empty, crystal clear, and radiant. Now, you are ready to fill it with that high-frequency new energy you learned in this academy. For now, forget, empty yourself, and just be. Learning is an act, but unlearning is an art, and today you have struck the first brushstroke of that art. In this lesson of the Bruce Lee Academy, you have seen that emptying your cup is not a loss, but the greatest step taken to embrace all the richness of the universe. A fighter is only truly fast when they let go of clinging, and a person is only truly wise when they abandon what they think they know. You will no longer allow old fears, the voices of others, and the shadows of the past to take up space in your mind. That sea of infinite possibilities in the quantum field is now eager to flow into the clear void you have created. The way of Bruce Lee is to be fresh in every moment, new in every moment, and fluid like water in every moment. When you finish this video, you will not have just closed a screen, you will have left an old version of yourself in the past. Remember, the true value of the cup is hidden in its emptiness, for only through that emptiness does it serve a purpose. You are now ready to enter life not in a full and heavy way, but in an empty and flexible one. From tomorrow, start watching the world through different eyes, as if you were seeing it for the first time. Change is not at the door. Change has already happened right in the center of that mind you emptied. Until the next lesson of the Bruce Lee Academy, enjoy that clean void and show the courage to recreate yourself in every moment. For now, just empty yourself, be formless, and stay like water.